The views and comments expressed on the following radio program by its hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the views of rmconair.com or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh, Chuck, let it ride. I mean, it's been a week since I've heard it last. Ladies and gentlemen, back in the building another Tuesday, the So What Morning Show, off to yet another great topic. We got, listen, this week's show is going to be a little bit different. We've got two topics, right? One topic for the first hour, another topic for the second hour, and both of them are going to be crazy. The first hour, well, I'll tell you about that after I do my book selections, all right? So it's very important that you guys go out and get these books. Reason being is because it just adds to your knowledge. Oh, yes, that's true. I am wearing one of my exclusive So What t-shirts. I'm wearing the Trauma and Forgiveness shirt. Very fly piece of apparel. You can get yours at zowhatorders@gmail.com. Go there right now. Send me an email, and I'll show you how to get one of these fly shirts. Of course, we've got the Go Deeper t-shirts. We've got the Trauma and Forgiveness t-shirts. We got male and female, and it's fly business, man. It's shirts with meaning. Please reach out to me, zowhatorders@gmail.com. Holla at me. Now, book selections. This is a great book. I want everybody to go out and get it. Wait a minute. Doc, hand me your books really quickly. Doc has great books, too. Please go out and support the doctor. One of the books that I have that I've been reading. This is a very, very good book. I don't endorse anything I don't read. So this is one that I will endorse. Get out of your own way. The doc tells me this all the time. Oh, you're fucking up. You're in your own way. You got to stop it. Please go get this book. Very, very, very powerful work by Dr. Mark Goulston and somebody else. Who is this? Philip Goldberg? One of your cousins?
No.
Well, yeah.
Can I tell you a little thing about the book, though?
Yeah, you can. Sure.
It's interesting. It came out in 1996, and since then I've gotten 250 letters from people in prison and jails telling me amazingly heartfelt things about how the book touched them. A recent one was a fellow who wrote me who said, I'm in my 31st year in prison for first-degree murder, and I finally accepted that I did it. No excuses. And what follows is the 3-page letter to the parents of the person I murdered, telling them what I took from them. Wow. And how I robbed them, and it was an amazing letter. And he just asked me, is there anything else I can do? I haven't heard back from them. So the letters like this, so I shared them with the L.A. Sheriff's Department. And the L.A. Sheriff's Department, I'm going to be going down there to see if we can help people in the jail.
Wow. I'm telling you, this book is heavy. Please, please, please go support the doctor. And, of course, he has another book. I got to promote all of it. Just Listen by Dr. Mark Goulston. Forward by Keith Ferrazzi. This is a great book as well. Now, this is the book when we initially made contact with Dr. Mark Goulston was when I was on the Foxhole during the Voice of Reason, and we did an incredible show called it wasn't Just Listen. It was Can You Hear Me Now? Is listening the most important part of communication? And he came on, and that's when we connected. This is a very powerful book. Please support and represent it. And, of course, you have Real Influence. That's your new book.
Real Influence is, after you listen to people and they open up to you, you really need to get stuff done. And we think that we're in a post-selling, post-pushing world, but that's all people are trained to do. Mm-hmm. But nobody wants to be hard-sold or hard-pushed. So we interviewed over 100 people who are influential without pushing.
Wow.
And we identified what their secret sauce was, and so that's what Real Influence is about.
And it's a great book as well, man. Go support him. Is it still $2.99 on Kindle, or have you jacked up the prices?
No, you people missed out, so you got to go pay the rack right now.
Yo. It's all good. Please call us, 323-965-1600. More books. Here's a great one. Mothers, Sons, and Lovers. How a man's relationship with his mother affects the rest of his life. Michael Gurian. Gurian is Gurian. Mothers, Sons, and Lovers. How a man's relationship with his mother affects the rest of his life. A lot of people on Facebook and Twitter have been asking me to do this topic. This is one of the topics we're going to cover today. Here's another one. I hate you. Don't leave me. Mm-hmm. Understanding the Borderline Personality.
Yes. Great book.
Yes. By Hal Strauss.
It'll chill you to the
right?
bone.
The book is called I Hate You. Don't leave me. Understanding the Borderline Personality. Crazy. Now I have another one, man. This is nuts too. Fire in the Minds of Men. Origins of the Revolutionary Faith by James H. Billington. Now, understand this book. This is a book about social engineering. So when you hear a lot of people, the conspiracies and stop with the conspiracy, listen, not even a gnat can poot in this society unless it's sanctioned. I'm just telling you, here's a book that the Bill Clintons of the world have read and have understood and have assimilated into their worldview. You got to upgrade your thought process. Fire in the Minds of Men, Origins of the Revolutionary Faith. Here's another one. An Adult Child's Guide to What's Normal. Right?
I like that.
Right? You like that one too, right? John C. Frell. I think that's how you spell his name. Friel. Please check that out. Here's another one. The Emotional Incest Syndrome. We're going to talk about all of this monkey knuckle going down today. Joe Robinson, J.O. Robinson. The Emotional Incest Syndrome. What to do when a parent's love rules your life. There's a lot of people out there that can't do a damn thing because mama didn't sign off on it. Even when you married, they picking who you supposed to be with. Love don't mean nothing. I got to be happy in your relationship. Somebody call us, 323-965-1600. This is a damn travesty. We have another one. When he's married to mom, how to help mother-enmeshed men open their hearts to true love and commitment. I mean, there's a lot going on out there. Somebody better help us. Somebody better help. And here's one, my final book. Stalking. When I tell you this book is so damn heavy, books are all over the place in terms of topic. I know it seems like we're on one topic, but we're not. This book right here is so deep. Has anybody ever heard of Bell's theorem? Bellian theorem? Or Bellian theory? What it is yes. There's a scientist. His name is Bell, last name. The dude found the mathematical equation that proves, right, that everything is everywhere at one time. Right? Now, we do know because of Einstein's law of relativity, or the theory of relativity, that the speed limit of the universe is the speed of light.
Which is 106,000 miles per hour.
Right. Well, Bell...
Per second.
Per second.
Yes, per second.
Bell actually disproved that. But not disproved it in the sense that said, it doesn't work. The mathematics of the theory of relativity is still profound and sound and can't be overturned at a certain level of consciousness. At a higher level of consciousness, the speed limit in the universe is thought. So Bell proved that one particle can be in two places at the same time. And this, you know, you have to understand, in science, things have to be replicated. First, the mathematics have to be sound. Then the experiments have to replicate.
Looks good on paper.
Right. So Bell's theory proved that two things can be in one place at the same time. So everything is non-local. This book is talking about your consciousness is everywhere at once. And you're not as small as you think you are. And there are times when your energy field is oscillating out into the boundless universes, and it could bring back infinite knowledge and coherence. But if you're not aware of it, you can't access it. Very heavy book. Stalking the Wild Pendulum on the Mechanics of Consciousness by Itzhak Bentov. Please go get the books. You know I like to just hit you upside the dome and change the way you think. This is what we do. We're going to take a quick break. When I come back, introduction of titles, topics, and guests. So what morning? 323-965-1600. We'll be back at 2.2. Holla! Candy cane.
Oh my God.
Wait a minute.
We're on?
Our doctor isn't here. You know he got to empty
The
out his
doctor's-
bladder every
yeah.
22 minutes?
Yeah.
Shit.
Got a peanut bladder. Got to go empty that thing.
Oh, Jesus. Ladies and gentlemen, back in the building. So what mornings? Today's topic, coping with the cray-cray. How to survive a relationship with a person with borderline personality disorder. That's our topic for the first hour. We have a specialist in the building. I'm going to introduce her in a minute. But you know what I think sometimes, and I'm going to read some questions off about this.
We think sometimes.
But I think these goddamn doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists just be making up illnesses and labeling stuff.
Of course.
That black grandmama them
had one name for.
What was it?
That heifer crazy.
Right?
What happened to just plain old good old fashioned garden variety crazy?
Wow. Listen, before I go into my questions, I want to introduce everybody, but we have an emergency call in the building. It's a friend of ours who just recently got a
Friend of the
job.
show?
Right? He's a friend of the show. And he wants to call in and bless you with a special top 10. Ladies and gentlemen, James Hanna.
John Hanna?
I'm
Who's
sorry.
that?
I'm on cocaine. I'm
Who's that?
personality disorder. James Hanna is in the building. James, shit, man. I know you only got a few minutes, man. What is the new top 10 today?
All right. Only got a few minutes. I'm on my lunch break. It's top 10 signs your kids go to a ghetto-ass daycare center.
Talk
That's
to us.
hilarious.
Top 10 signs your kids go to a ghetto-ass daycare center. Let's see. Number 10, the owner's husband asks you if your son could pee in this cup right quick.
What?
Number 9, the children absolutely are not under any circumstances allowed to wear red.
Ah.
We can't be
Not in this
responsible.
neighborhood.
We can't be responsible for what the Rolling 60s do.
Number 8, your daughter tells you, All Miss Keisha did was give us some NyQuil and went upstairs with some man.
Oh.
That ain't right. That ain't right.
Go ahead.
Number 7. Your kid is the only one with a daddy.
Oh, shut it down.
Wow. You know it's going to get progressively worse,
It's like,
right?
it's hurting every time.
The name of the daycare is Boss Bitch Academy.
Boss Bitch Academy.
Academy? The BBA?
Number 5. The owner was just on Maury with 7 dudes, 7 envelopes, and then none of them niggas was the daddy.
Damn.
The owner.
Number 4. During the interview, the owner tells you she's great with kids. She just got hers back 3 weeks
Oh,
ago.
God.
Wow.
That's not right.
Number 3. Their fridge is full of baby bottles of great Kool-Aid.
Wow.
What kind of daycare center?
Shut it down.
I know some people like that.
Shut it down.
Number 2. The owner, Miss Nikki, was your starting high school quarterback.
Oh,
Wow.
all right.
Wow.
And number 1 on the top 10 signs your kids go to a ghetto-ass daycare. Fantasia Marino is the co-owner.
I can't.
Oh.
That's a lot.
Why are you going at Fantasia?
Shit.
She is the
Fuck
president of the...
Fuck Fantasia. Oh, crazy bitch. I think she on drugs.
Oh,
Bitch broke up a marriage. Got pregnant by a nigga. Aborted the baby because the nigga didn't want her. Tried to kill herself.
Oh, Lord.
Knowing she about to leave a daughter behind. He ain't got pregnant by the nigga again. And then when she had her baby, she upset that her baby don't get the publicity that fucking Blue Ivy gets. Like, really, bitch?
Are you serious? Right.
you put it like that.
And then she opened up a
Timeline.
daycare
It
center.
is like that.
You
It is
lay out
like
the
that.
timeline.
And then she
It's pretty
opened up
right.
a
It is like
daycare center. Oh, God. Hey, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the top 10.
Don't get
Man,
fired.
No problem. No problem. Let me
Hey,
get back
They
to
give
work.
scholarships.
I
to
hope
that?
your boss don't listen to this show.
Right. But will we?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. We just trying to send you off with a good thank you. That's all.
All right.
All right,
Well, y'all
brother.
got the show, and I'll holler next week.
Holla back,
For
player.
sure. Now, would somebody consider someone like Fantasia, like people who do crazy shit, is that personality, borderline personality? What exactly is it? Can we get a definition? Oh, let me introduce my guest. I'm sorry, before I even go into that. Jeff Brown,
What's up?
comedian
What's up?
extraordinaire, intellectual, irritant, just all around great dude, smart guy, very, very, very funny.
Let's keep going.
Dr.
Keep
Mark
going.
Goulston in the building. And our special guest, Thea. Tell him. I wanted to. I really love this woman. She's a good person.
I don't even know her. I love
She's
her
an
hair.
HBO deaf poet.
Beautiful.
Right? She was on TV One's Versus and Flow. She's a marriage and family therapist. She has an upcoming book, Memoirs of a Mad Woman. This is true, speaking from experience. No,
You know what?
She's great. No, she's great, people. Upcoming 12-week course, Women and the Mic. Which mic is she speaking of? 323-965-1600. Speak to us, brothers and sisters. And also, you can follow her on Twitter. She has a website. What's your name of your website, honey?
TheaMonyee.com.
Yes, TheaMonyee.com. You got to support her. She's dope. She's here to talk to us about the cray-cray borderline personality disorder. And, of course, we got Dr. Mark Goulston. Tell us, what in the hell is this fancy name that all of you psychs come up with to make us feel bad about ourselves? What is it?
Well, borderline personality is one of several personality disorders. And the reason we wanted to discuss it today is because it's coming up a lot more, I think, in the news. Like, I think things like the Jodi Arias trial and situations like that brought that up. And I feel like it's important to explain it, because if not, then people start running around with mental health diagnoses like, oh, he's not, he got ADHD, or she's bipolar. Yeah, and they say a lot of that stuff. They don't really understand what it is. And personality disorders are particularly difficult for everyday people who are not trained to recognize a diagnosis, to understand, because you just think that's just how they are. That's just who they are. It's so deeply enmeshed in that person's development that it's difficult. So a lot of times when you run into somebody this rigid, this difficult, this
So are we just saying rigid people and difficult people have a disorder, a mental problem?
Not all of them. But let's give an example.
I was going to say, where's the line where we go, this nigga crazy?
Because I like I said, I don't like people to run around and then be like, they'll leave the show and be like, oh, I know like 50 borderline people.
That's
and
what I'm saying. Like,
we're going to prevent that.
Yes.
That's why I like cray-cray. I know it ain't right. It ain't like the clinical term. However, I think people understand that because when you break it down, like what these behaviors are, they're like, oh, I might have done that, or I know somebody who has done that. So we'll use a classic situation. Okay. Usually you start to see these things escalate at a breakup. So rejection is a huge trigger for someone who is struggling with or suffering with borderline personality disorder.
That's what's wrong with dating actresses. They get rejected all the time. They bring that crazy shit.
323-965-1600. If you think you're dating somebody that's cray-cray, call us right now and share your story. 323-965-1600. Thea Monyee, go.
So let's say, okay, during the relationship, you might have picked up on different things, very temperamental or, very judgmental, very controlling, things of this nature. However, once you're trying to leave this type of person, this is where you really see things flare up because rejection is such a huge trigger.
Think you leaving, huh?
You think you leaving.
You think you going somewhere, huh?
And this is I think women have been educated somewhat in some of these things, like even some of the narcissistic characteristics, because we're very aware now of domestic violence and how that affects women. So we look out for these signs of controlling personalities, of, isolating or, a lot of deep neediness type of things. So women are more so programmed to look for it. Not that we don't still get involved with it. We definitely do. But the information is more available. I really look at men as the ones who really don't see the signs. And I think part of that is, I'm just going to be honest, keep it real with you.
Can you give me 3 signs before you make that point?
Yes. So 3 signs that you're
dealing with a cray-cray. Like, what does that look like?
One feature is very rigid thinking. So, we all have our opinions. We all have, what we feel about something, what we don't. But most of us are reasonable to the extent that we can entertain some gray thought. We can entertain like, okay, that's a possibility. That could happen, maybe under those. Usually this person is very absolute.
Black and white.
Black and white. Always or never. You never do anything for me.
Really?
You always do that to me.
That's the phrase.
Whether or not that, and that's completely inaccurate, but that's what you're going to get a lot of, There's also what I found is a lot of sexualized behavior. There's a lot of discomfort with intimacy later on. The further you get into the relationship with the person, the closer you're supposed to get, the more you're supposed to know. But remember, this person is terrified of really being known and exposed and vulnerable. Wow. So the closer you get in there, the more you're going to experience some form of rejection. However, that may be very different from when you first met them and they were like freak of the week.
Wow.
Because freak of the week was what got you here.
What got you there.
Yeah.
Right.
What got you here in the situation. I just think I've seen in some parents that I've experienced, they'll very, very controlling of the situation. So if they feel like they cannot manipulate the situation, they will use a lot of outside forces. So they will we're going to go to the highest boss's boss, quote back to you things that are like from a handbook, just try to really force, their control. They don't like to be in control of the situation at all times, whether it's through manipulation or ever. They're not comfortable not being in control.
So is a person with borderline personality disorder, are they dangerous? Are they potentially dangerous? And what's the difference between someone suffering from borderline personality disorder and the run-of-the-mill relationship loser? What's the difference?
Well, I think. What do you?
What's the difference?
You just saying, what's the difference between that and you just ain't shit? Some people just ain't shit.
Why they gotta be a loser? I think there are people who have difficulties and challenges in relationships, but they're able to move on from it. They're able to go on to form other relationships.
They have a difficulty going on to form other ones?
No, someone who has borderline personality disorder will have difficulty forming attachments. So that's part of why there's such a control on the attachments they have. Now, there will be other seemingly
But that's
attachments.
why it's crazy then.
Right.
Because that sounds oxymoronic.
It is. And it's very,
like,
can you imagine being in that relationship with that person, trying to figure out what will make them happy, what do they need?
So it's, I don't want attachments, but I'm attached to the attachment I have.
It's,
Now stay attached, but I don't want that shit.
Leave me.
This sounds like the lyrics
Hate you,
to
don't
Prince's
leave me.
Strange Relationship.
And I think the difference is, like you said, everybody has difficulty in relationships, but the ability to move forward, the ability to let go, the ability to move past, maybe they just have a communication issue, maybe they have low self-esteem.
Let me
that's
ask the
regular.
doctor. Doctor, it sounds like everybody has borderline personality disorder because most people who claim they've moved on really haven't. That's just in general. It takes a really self-aware, sophisticated, objective kind of being to really cleanse themselves of a situation and move on. Most people are holding resentments for 30, 40 years. I mean, you see it in the family. When we get to the picnic, there's some nigga that didn't come because he didn't come to the funeral, and niggas is still mad. And everybody's sick. I'm just saying, doctor, can you come from behind the curtain, Mr. Oz, and help us understand what's wrong with our minds?
Now, Whitey Locks.
Borderline. What I know about borderline personalities is, think of this: 90% of their psychological energy, 90% is involved in avoiding someone controlling you or leaving you. That's the 90, and so there's nothing left. There's nothing left to relate to people. So you can't stand having someone control you, and you can't stand someone leaving you, and that's like 90% of your psychological energy. So the relationships are totally chaotic. So when someone is trying to get close to you, you feel like they're controlling you, so you push them away. And then when that person finally says, "I am burned out, I'm out of here," then you and they will go to any extreme to keep you from abandoning them. They cut on themselves, they threaten all kinds of things. And but to Zoe's point, I think everybody has a personality style, and when it gets exaggerated and starts to screw up your life, your relationships and your job, it crosses over into being a personality disorder. But we all have styles, and some of those styles in moderation are pretty good. It's good to be vivacious. It's not so great to be histrionic about everything. It's good to be a little bit disciplined, but to be obsessive compulsive about things and be real high maintenance. That's awful.
But in general, don't most people, in general, not everybody, some but all, some but not all, don't most people lack the balance between that?
Well, I think the other element is under stress. So borderline personalities, life is under stress. So all of us under stress can act up. I make a distinction between stress and distress. Stress can make you strong. You can keep your eye on the prize, but when it crosses over into distress, your eye is on getting relief, and you will do anything to gain relief. So the key in helping people through, I think, therapy and coaching is teach people how to be able to deal with stress and still keep focused on the prize, and to raise what it takes for them to cross over into distress, because when it does, all bets are off, and they're going to do whatever they can to relieve that.
Right. Now, Jeff has been married to several
people.
Now, Jeff, were they crazy, or now do you have a better understanding?
Okay.
Maybe they had mental problems.
Just thumbnail sketch. My first wife, I got married at 22 years old. I had no business. We was kids. Okay, you can't be the man of a house until you're a man. That don't count. That second one, she's out of her goddamn mind. It sounds like you were in my grass with binoculars. This, yes, there, and a lot of this to me is bred by unchecked unchecked emotion when you're young.
That's
Nobody
exactly it.
is pruning this. I used to tell my ex, and this ain't a clinical term, I used to tell, you know why you talk all slick? Because somebody didn't loosen your teeth before it was a crime. Like back in 4th grade, you said something to the wrong dude and he bust you in your mouth. If that had happened, you would know that there's a consequence to your actions, and they don't have it. So they're just wild, and they're not pruned at all.
Yeah, what the doctor said is perfect. Like, the distinction is impairment and functioning. Can you function on a job? Can you function in a relationship? Can you function in your life? So we all have it, but it's when it crosses a certain line that it becomes a mental health concern. And like you said, what I found in the people that I've worked with that showed signs of this disorder, it was some sort of early childhood trauma that went unresolved. And that can happen depending on cultural norms or family culture. Dust it off, walk it off, nobody paid attention to it. And so what happens is you develop a way of coping that to get you through that moment, it never changes. When you become an adult, you should have different coping than you had as a child. If you hold on to that coping your whole life, it becomes, people say, she's been like that since she was like 5. Well, maybe the trauma happened when she was 5, but now she thinks it's who she is.
Well, here's where I got to call bullshit on half of that.
Gotcha.
My ex-wife number 2 was funky with a member of my family who was a minister, and the person asked me why she liked that with me. I said, that's because you're a minister, but you don't have no TV credits. See, she happens to know T.D. Jakes personally. She happens to know Bishop Omer personally. She knows Bishop Blake personally, and she never acts like that with them. She acts like that with you because you don't deserve her respect. Now, if you had a shotgun on your lap, she probably wouldn't do that. So these people make choices about who they're going to act like.
Oh, absolutely. And that goes back to what the doctor said, too. It's 90% of what they're trying to do is about control and manipulation. So that doesn't mean they're very skilled manipulators. They're not going to do certain things that are going to expose what they're trying to do. It's very detailed.
Are you dating a skilled manipulator? Do you feel manipulated? Do you feel
handled?
Like you're handled? You're very poorly handled. Somebody call us at 323-965-1600. I have a statement here. It's really hard to watch the show you're starring in. And I think you understand, like, it's hard if you're starring in your own drama.
Right.
It's hard for you to
think that's how it is.
Yes, you just think that's how it is. It's hard for you to step outside of your own drama and look at it objectively and go, I'm on some bullshit. Or I got this from somewhere. Or this trauma's from somewhere. We've said it before on the show many times. I said, I believe that there is a bridge between trauma and forgiveness. This is not a plug for my T-shirt, but you can buy it.
Just in case.
I always
forgive you.
I always say that there's a bridge.
Yeah.
And I said, you can't get to the evolutionary process of forgiveness, because forgiveness is not for the person that hurt you. It's for you.
Absolutely.
So what happens is trauma, just like in a car accident, your body knows. Your central nervous system knows. It's about to be some shit happening in this turnover
0.3 of a second
on the freeway. So I'm going to black you out so you don't feel your teeth getting knocked the fuck out through this accident.
Yeah.
Right? Or so you don't feel the concussions and bones breaking.
I got to bring up the forgiveness continuum. Okay, you ready for this?
Can I finish my point, though? See,
like I said,
you see how the Wizard of Oz just come out from behind the curtain?
It's Whitey Locks. What do you want from me?
You see how he just come out like, and fuck what the nigga saying. Now what I want to say.
Put away that black thought, underling. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know what
he wrote the book Just Listen. Could you go get it?
Just Listen. By Mark Goulston.
But
to shut the fuck up and listen. You would have sold a lot more books if you'd have just shut the fuck up and listen.
To me.
To me. You dumb cockeyed son of a bitch.
No, but to finish the point and then throw it to the doc, I believe that middle point between trauma and forgiveness is where we create, that comfort zone, that neurotic comfort zone where whatever happened here, we formulate that shit to get us through that pain, to help black us out, to black that pain out. And then what happens is that behavior or thought process that we adopt becomes like an advisor, like a cycle. Like, hey, this is comfortable. This is good for you.
Yeah, I'm comfortable here.
Stay like this, and I think it prevents you from getting to the other side of the bridge where forgiveness is. Now you can finish with your forgiveness continuum, Dr. Mark.
Okay, for all of you who are looking for relationships, you're in a relationship, there's a forgiveness continuum. And at one end are the unforgiving people. You got to stay away from them.
Yes.
They will end up bitter and they will wear you out. So at one end of the unforgiving people, stay away from them. What's interesting is in the middle are people who forgive others, and they're kind of B minus relationship material. But the real top people are the people. No, the top people of the are the people who ask forgiveness.
Wow. Oh,
and if you don't have someone who asks for forgiveness ever, that's going to be a relationship challenge.
Oh my God!
Yes, the doc talked about this before. He talked about it if you're unforgiving, there's a sense of ego and entitlement, and I'm holding this, and resistance and resentment, and all of these things make you less relationship material than it would if you were open to forgiving. And
absolutely, you can't take anything else in. And
right.
One of the features, you asked for several features. Another one is no accountability. No matter what you say to this person, no matter how the evidence stacks up, they will not accept accountability. Why? Accountability means I have to own it. If I own it, I'm responsible for it. If I'm responsible for it, I might have to change it. If I change it, I have to deal with it. And that means I have to look at the pain. I have to look at what I've caused. I have to look at the destruction. You asked if they were dangerous. An unaccountable person is very dangerous. Ugh. An unforgiving person is very dangerous. They can go all the way and never look back at what they've done.
Oh, my Lord.
And that is scary.
Oh,
that is very scary. If you cannot say, that's my fault, my bad, please forgive me.
I'm a
You're
co-creator of whatever I experience. I'm not totally responsible, but I'm totally responsible for my contribution.
If it equals 5 and the thing was 3, God damn it, I got to be 2. I'm part of the equation.
Exactly. And when I do therapy with kids, adults, I do all ages. I don't care if the child is 5 years old. I teach accountability. I teach it, and I teach them that once you own what you do wrong, you can own what you do right, and you can feel good about that, and you can feel proud of yourself for that, but you own your shadow and your light. And a person who can't do that is capable of extreme destruction, and they cannot make attachments. You will be an object to them. Ooh. You will be a means to an end for them.
Always.
We've got a caller on the line. Caller, you're in the building. You have something to share with us? Speak on it.
Yeah, it's me.
What's up, man? You on? Who is this?
Chi-Town from Chicago, man.
Chi-Town from Chicago.
From the city. Where'd you go to school? Where'd you go to high school?
Oh, man, I moved around a lot. That's why I was born and raised, though.
All right, my man.
Still 12, yeah, man. Hey, but y'all switched the topic up so quick. Y'all on accountability and forgive people who forgive now. But I wanted to go back to that being a skilled manipulator point. We overlook that to approach these women as men, we have to manipulate them. Even if we're not, we're trying to get, but we have to come to them with, I'm better than you, or I have to get through your 16 no's and get you to say yes. So we have to learn to manipulate the women because of the dynamic of the relationship.
So you're saying women respond better to lies than they do the truth?
Not necessarily lies. You just got to give them, you got to invoke an emotion.
He gave you an out.
I'm talking to you like an interview.
Chi-Town, I hate to stop you, but Zoe gave you an out. You sound like the 48 Laws of Power right now. And I hate to cut you off, but I'm gonna have to vehemently disagree with the fact that that's what you have to do. That's what you have to do if you choose that particular road with that particular type of female. Okay, there are women out there. They are rare. They are hard to find. Yeah. But there are people.
They're on the far end of the bell curve.
Yes.
Okay.
Same for men, though.
Okay. Once you get your brain, you gotta you strive. How old are you, Chi-Town?
I'm 25.
Yeah, we go. Absolutely. Okay,
first. Fucking like crazy.
Yes, sir. That's right where I was going. First, you must wrap your brain around these two concepts. One, every woman comes here with a vagina. And 2, you can't fuck them all. I've tried. You cannot fuck them all. 3, You have to get your brain to this place that you are not getting cooter. You're giving out penis. And once you get to that, then the bell curve narrows. Then the amount of women, the type of women, the amount of women you expose yourself to, because that's what you're doing. The quality, you are exposing yourself to every time you go into a room with the energy, to borrow something from Dr. Mark. Close your eyes and erase the people you were attracted to when you walk into the room, and now look at the other people. Every time that you come into a yes, sir.
Now I understand exactly I understand the concept of what you're saying, and I'm at a point now. I don't value. I am giving my penis out, so I am the valuable one. I have to see.
Yes.
But in certain instances, even when a chick chooses you, even when I've had good women, I've had bad women. Even when a good woman approaches you, you can't just be like, you can't interview her. You still have to hit some kind of emotion in it, whether it be happiness, anger, anything.
Chi-Town. What are you?
Chi-Town or
Chi-Town. SH, just to act like Chi-Town. Chi-Town. That's
what are you frustrated about right now? Because
I was just saying how you said manipulate. Are you dating a manipulator? And I'm not saying manipulation as a negative thing. I'm just saying manipulation as in controlling the situation and creating what you want to come out of it. Not necessarily being negative with it. And then you guys moved on, and I was trying to catch up. But
but you're frustrated about something. Just what is that? Something just not going right for you. What is that?
He can feel it. He's really smart and he's white.
Career, what do you mean? What's wrong with it?
No. You're frustrated. If you're willing to open up, we'll all get mad. You get more relief out of this conversation. But what are you frustrated or mad about?
In life, well, if we're going deep like that, this is the So What show. As a young dude, you don't get appreciated as much as you should when you put your time into something, because people don't expect.
Wow. There we go.
So, and this goes deep in the family. So when you're you set yourself up at a young age. Like, I mean, I made bad choices. I was banging. My head was broke off, whatever, But I went to Job Corps because I got expelled for fighting. And so I was set at 18. I had already got my culinary arts degree, graduated high school through the program, was working, living in a different state, not relying on my parents. And due to medical issues, I moved to another state, back in with my mom, and I took care of her. I trying to go too deep and be all emotional on the show or whatever. But I took care of her. I provided financially, home health care, used my name for credit, buried myself in debt, buried her in debt, but did what we had to do I'm going to get to the point. But
yeah, please.
I did the work, and I put myself in a bad situation to fill up for somebody else, and that's family, whatever. So you're supposed to do that, and you ain't have to act. It's not being reappropriated to me because I was young. I had to do this shit. It threw me off. Like, now getting back to it, like trying to set myself up. You're expecting more of me, but you're not allowing me to recover what I lost initially.
Wow. Great point. That's good.
Wow.
Doc and Thea, do you guys have something for him?
I do. I think a couple things. One, I think you have to look at how your relationships with your parents play out in your relationships with the opposite sex or whoever you're attracted to, because a lot of times we project what we may have wanted to happen in those relationships with our parents onto those people that we are seeking to have a romantic relationship with, and that's our stuff, like maybe you feel like you have to manipulate these women because you don't feel like you were recognized as being enough in this other dynamic, even though you gave and you gave and you gave, it wasn't acknowledged or recognized as enough. And so you approach these women already thinking they're going to think I'm not enough. And the trick isn't necessarily thinking, the trick is knowing your value, but also knowing that that person has value too. There's a balance.
But do you see how difficult it is at 25? First off, the human brain doesn't finish developing until 25. Right? It's still a kid brain at 24. It's technically.
It is.
And it's hard for you to objectively see, right, the television show you're acting in.
Yeah, definitely.
It's hard. Your life is a show, and it's hard for you to be outside yourself and go, wait a minute. Objectivity is needed for me to see exactly what's happening. Sometimes we get molded, or most times we're molded by the experience. And it's like the die is cast.
Yeah, but I believe that's why these moments happen.
Right.
Like he called in about something else. The doctor uncovered what was really going on. And so now he has a moment. And I believe everybody has moments, whether we recognize them or not. There's these moments where life gives us
epiphany.
Gives us like these side view mirrors to see what's going on. And
It's
for
the
him,
it's the thought, it's the
not all
space.
that. I'm just like,
It's
Yeah, you
the
got
space
extra
in between
challenges.
the thought. The thought is developed by our environment, by the social game rules that are implanted by our hood, our moms, our and then the insight comes in between the thoughts.
and they're challenged. That's life. Life is going to come up to hold up mirrors all over the place to show you things. And for this moment in particular, there's definitely healing that needs to take place in that situation with him and his mom. And I can almost guarantee you it's going to result in a different dynamic with women.
Does this make him a cray-cray?
Absolutely not.
No.
He's going through an emotional thing, and he recognizes that he's going through an emotional thing. He's not expressing that, that it's any all or nothing, he's open. I think that's a big difference than somebody who's closed, unaccountable, and, blame oriented.
No,
I'm going to give him a tip.
Yeah, go ahead.
I got a couple tips. Chi-Town, I'm going to give you a tip, and you tell me if you agree to it. Then I want you to call back. Next week. Tell us.
Yes, absolutely.
So this is what I like. This is what I like you to do. At the end of every day, before you go to sleep, take out a piece of paper and you write down, what do I need to get done tomorrow so that I can feel more hopeful at this time tomorrow night? Mm-hmm. What do I need to get done? Not what you can do or will do, but what do I need to get done that's under your power? Because if you're just waiting for other people, it's going to be a long wait. And then and that might help you sleep because you'll have a focus. Well, if I get this done, I'll feel more hopeful tomorrow night. And then when you wake up in the morning, you can revise that. Well, I slept on it. What I need to get done today so that I feel more hopeful at the end of the day is this. And you can revise it in the morning, but I'd like you to try that every day for a week and then call us back next week. Would you do that?
That's great. I got something for you. Yeah. I got something for you, Chi-Town. Two things, dog. One, I don't think you're a cray-cray. I think you are dealing with cray-cray potential, and here's why. Because your concept of manipulation, the universe is going to challenge that each and every day, with a little bit each and every day, a lot with each and every relationship. If you galvanize yourself to this concept of I have to manipulate and you won't let it go, the universe is going to beat the living shit out of you and turn you into a cray-cray.
But doesn't this happen a lot? And we have some professionals here.
Let me bring it back to the topic before I got
okay, run the show then, Chi-Town.
I'll tell you what.
I was about to say goodbye to you, nigga.
Let's get Zoe out of the way so you can get what you need done.
What the fuck is going on?
Hey, Jordan, sit down. Right. B.J. Armstrong wants to go in.
I try to sit on hold and I ain't want to just hang up on y'all, you feel me? I mean, I'm listening to the show and everything, but I got other shit to do, too.
Well, finish your thought then.
Well, let's not let us keep you with our little show then.
Grown man.
Right.
I was just going to say, like you said, I'm at that. My brain isn't fully developed as far as an adult mentality.
Well, it is now. You're 25. Stop making excuses. Don't use my shit as an excuse for you to stay where you are, okay?
No, go ahead.
That's so borderline, Zoe, right there.
Zoe is nuts.
It's like, I love you, I reject you.
I'm saying, like, you talking about relationships, while I'm developing this point, even now I'm stepping it up financially and trying to, be independent. Should I be trying to develop a relationship or should I focus on
No. Yeah, man, take your time.
Fix Chi-Town, bro.
Finish school, make sure I keep stacking my money and doing that.
But you know what it is? You know what it is? Let me tell you this, Chi-Town, and then we got to let you go.
Yeah.
This is what it is. It's a tightrope. Just see it as a tightrope. It's a catch-22. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. You got to learn by being in it, but at the same time, you have to learn how to watch yourself in the television show you're starring in.
You got to learn to reflect.
You have to learn how to say, okay, because a lot of times we're just doing without observation.
I got something deep to share.
You feel me? So I appreciate that. Yes, you should try to be in a relationship, but at the same time, you should know who you are and what state you're in.
Get whole first.
Yeah,
Yes.
you know.
Well, you Chi-Town, this happened to me. A couple of things, super fast. One, when I was 2, my mother married a Marine. Okay. This dude was a fucking tyrant. He was horrible. He used to beat my mother. He used to hide my toys. Took the pedals off my bike so I couldn't fucking ride it. Told me I would never, ever, ever be able to be a Marine because I didn't have what it took. Now, when I was 18, I could not wait to join a branch of service. Guess which one it was?
The Marines.
The Marines. I went off to the Marines and I met a girl who had a 2-year-old boy. I could not wait to marry her in order to be better than the dude I was exposed to. Right. And I was basically trying to rewrite my mother's script instead of living my own damn life.
I got the same story.
Yeah, a lot of
But hey, Shy, let me just say this, man. Seriously, in all truth, we appreciate you for opening up, for calling, being vulnerable, sharing your situation. I know we make jokes or whatever, but the reality of it is,
I watched the show, man. It's all good.
Yeah, man. The
yes,
reality
and
of
please
it is,
call back.
The reality of it is, the quality of your relationship is predicated on what the self-work you've done. Like, if you have done no self-work, the quality of your relationship, chances are, is going to be a little shabby because a lot of shit is just going to be popping up unbeknownst to you. Woo. You see, so we appreciate you, man. Just continue to work on yourself. Thank you for the call. And that's what it is, because that 7-Eleven ain't going to open itself. Now, what we're about to do is take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to finish up this topic. And then we're going to go into Mama Nim.
Mama Boo.
Oh, shit.
Are you married to the mom? Not the mob, but she acts like the mob in your relationship. 323-965-1600. When we return, that's what we gonna do. Holla! Man, are you dating somebody with a borderline personality disorder?
Is that bitch crazy?
Is there a difference between bipolar and borderline personality disorder?
They're completely different.
And how can you tell the difference? And what role does the younch, the yogurt box,
The younch?
play in the crazy?
Did you actually call it a yogurt? That is one of the most
The yogurt
Wonderful.
box.
things I think I've ever heard.
No.
The butter churn.
You must not like
factory.
yogurt.
I'm just saying, does
I eat me some yogurt.
You know.
If you know what I'm saying, and I
does
think you
sex,
do.
does sex play a role in being with the cray-cray?
I think it does, and I think this is why men have a bit of a different challenge than women. When a woman's in a situation where she's uncomfortable and dealing with these sort of personality traits, you know, that makes us more closed off. You know, that makes us more like, I don't want to. I have no interest in.
Purely speaking
However,
from your
wait a
own
minute.
soulful, grounded, wonderful place.
I think that with men, here's the thing: when they start to catch on to those cray-cray traits, the cray-cray offers sex, and so I think men get thrown off. I know.
Yes, because
Men
we're
get
not
thrown
thinking
off.
about mental
No.
disorders when we're leg deep.
I'm telling you, here's one of the things I told my guy friends to look out for. So this is the woman who, of course, you just got out of something. This is usually when you meet them. They'll tell them all the horrible things your ex just did to you, how terrible she was to you. And so now she has all this information. All she has to really do is be the opposite.
Loading her gun.
She has to be the opposite of everything you just described, right? So you're going around saying she's perfect, she does this, she does that, such and such, never did that, da-da-da-da-da.
You just gave
Sex
her a
life
map.
is great. Yeah. So here's what happens. The first time after you have sex with this person, they're going to slip up for a moment because they feel a little more vulnerable, which is scary for them. But they're going to say something like, our kids are going to be so cute. Or, I can't wait till we get married. Now, you didn't say all that.
It's a little early for that.
It's a little early for that.
Yeah.
But you're going to hear it and you're going to be like, and you're gonna try to back out.
Like,
may
I
not
love you
answer
too
the
early?
calls. Yeah, you may not answer the calls.
Run, Forrest, run.
But what's gonna happen is if she calls you at midnight and she tells you to come over, you're gonna come over.
Yes, we
and
will.
each time that you go over, you're gonna be more and more and more in the clutches of the cray-cray.
Okay.
So I think for men, they have to get out of that mentality of losing objectivity because sex is on the table.
But sex is on the table. Like, Jesus.
I just say think Jodi Arias. Like people say, how did she overpower this big guy?
I'm going to ask you something, and this is very personal.
Oh dear.
And
Does
I
it-
really,
is it-
you do
does it
not
involve
have to
yogurt?
answer. Yes.
Oh, God.
You do not have to answer.
Okay.
Okay. Have you ever had any crazy pussy?
No.
It is.
Oh, my
it's a
Lord.
delicacy.
Oh, my sweet Lord. Let me tell you something.
Jesus.
Hood rat cooter is unbelievable. I'm telling you, you see colors, it's like a Skittles commercial.
Is it?
It is unbelievable, and that is what the problem
That
is.
is what the problem is.
I'm
Because
telling you,
that-
God is
If that
cruel.
gets pregnant,
It's tighter than
it's
a
gonna
voice
be
box.
on like
It's-
popcorn.
Oh my God. It's tighter than a Japanese parking
I
space.
can't.
I'm trying to tell you. It's unbelievable. I mean, you,
Doc,
I'm looking at
Doc
Dr.
will tell
Wait,
you.
wait. I gotta ask you. I gotta ask
Doc
you
will
guys
tell
something.
you.
I gotta ask you. Something I hear. No, something I hear from women a lot, and you tell me if this just isn't a problem. But what a lot of women will say is, it's amazing. You date a guy, and he's got the hots for you, and he will make all kinds of promises that he has no intention of keeping. So he will tease you with this future. He will say, oh, this is amazing. I've never felt this way before. Oh, I could be with you forever. And then when you try to collect on any of his promises, like, when is that going to happen? And he says, stop being so pushy. Stop being so controlling. I mean, I think there's equal responsibility in how people, to go back to Chi-Town, manipulate each other.
I call that the
Listen,
verbal
could- I
don't
contract.
know
That's
about
the
that,
verbal
dude.
contract.
Right,
zone.
but couldn't you be fucking nuts to be teased by a future?
Okay, no.
with a dude you know,
God
this
damn.
dude telling you he
No,
gonna
no,
give
no,
you the world
no.
driving
And
a
most
78
women-
Cutlass.
No, women
and
are
most
looking for their
women know.
future.
That is called the verbal contract. That is exactly what that is. This is what it is. And
Most
this
women
is
know.
for the ladies. No, they need to know. this is when they will say any and everything except those commitment words, like we are monogamous, we are boyfriend and girlfriend, we are engaged. They will not say that. They will say, you are the best thing that ever happened to me. You know, I've never felt this way before. I want to see you all the time. They will also hint like, you know, I'm just not quite ready. I want to have everything ready for you. They will say everything but the words, because as long as they don't say those words, they feel like they cannot be held accountable. So when the woman's cooking, she's changing her behavior and her actions according to these things that are being said, which we have to not do. We have to make sure that they say it before we start to do it.
Listen.
But we will do it, and that is the verbal contract.
I am tired of women being duped by ideas. It's like men are fucking car salesmen, and you know good and damn well this is a lemon. You can see that, you can
smell like lemons.
You can smell the
this
citric
nigga
odor.
Smell like pledge.
But here's that pussy. I'm just saying.
Oh my God. Okay, you earthy, grounded, beautiful Erica Badu looking. I bet you got a bag of oranges you just be rolling around with.
Bro,
but you are just so. This is my problem with what you.
Okay, let's do this.
Say it.
I'm ready.
Okay, I refuse to believe that there is one or many super slick 007 ass dudes walking around that have something over your God-given intuition.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I
no.
refuse
I
to
always say
believe
this.
that.
I agree. This is what it is. Now, you have to think about how women are socialized. Women are socialized to think of themselves in relation to other people, which is different than men are socialized to develop in relationship to themselves. Right. Women are socialized.
Okay.
I define myself by how you see me in my role. So your feedback on who I am is almost, for a period of our life, more important than our feedback to ourselves. So the problem here is
Shit, I gotta
that
go home and talk to my daughter.
the problem, yes, you do. Because the problem is, I always tell people, never underestimate a woman's power to delude herself. I'm not saying that.
That's why we brought you to the show.
You're not gonna get out of here without repeating that.
Damn.
Never underestimate a woman's power to delude herself, because we are socialized to think that who we are to you is more important than who we are to ourselves. So we will create. And this is the thing. On some level, men know this because they say it. Chi-Town just said it. They say what they need to say to give you just enough to construct the delusion.
This is why.
But yes, the women are responsible for constructing the delusion.
This is why I said to Chi-Town, are you saying that lies work better on women than the truth?
Yes.
You don't even have to lie. You can infer.
First
and
off,
she will take it
A
from
woman
there.
will tell you what she don't want to hear.
First off, your fantasy isn't real.
Do I look fat in this? Don't say it.
So it's a lie.
It is.
Until it's real in the now.
Until he says it. This is the thing. They know if they don't say it, and that's what I tell women all the time. They say, well, he said this and he said that. And I say, what did he say that you're a couple? Did he say that you're engaged? Did he say that you're his monogamous woman?
Thank
if
you,
he didn't
'cause that's how
say
dudes
those
talk.
things, then don't change the dynamics of your relationship. When he calls you at 12 and he says, I want you to come over, you say, are we a couple? Is it just you and me?
Now she
If
gonna
not,
be by herself forever.
That's her. That's why she. That's why she does what she does.
Can
but
you
at the same
imagine?
She
time,
gonna be by herself forever for other shit. She gonna be by herself forever, ever, because this dude felt the license to call her at 12. It
Exactly.
don't matter what she say. She can say, "Are we a couple? Are we this?" And he gonna hang up, and she gonna still be
she
that
just
smart.
can't act on it. She's
Wow.
gonna, like, if he's like, are you coming over tonight? Well, I didn't know. We didn't make plans, so
There you
I
go.
can't come
All right.
because I already had plans,
So
or
let's-
whatever the situation.
So
may
let's
be.
do this. Let's wrap this topic so we can move into the crazy mama deal.
We got to come back to the verbal contract
Yes,
one day.
we should. Now,
that's
what
some
I would like to do is ask you and the doctor and Jeff for just a couple of tips of how to get the fuck away from the cray-cray, the borderline personality disorder cat.
Second
or
job.
woman. How do you get second
A
job?
secret second job.
So, Monet,
I'll
I think
explain
my
that in a minute.
number one tip is do not engage. Do not. The engagement is a part of the attention seeking.
I don't think that's. Can I? I'm
So I
sorry.
say-
Oh, let me just stop really quickly for 1 second. Do you believe that people date and attract and date the content of their consciousness.
To an extent.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's hard to just say don't engage.
No, here's why I say don't engage.
That's why I stopped you.
person
So
needs
finish.
attention, and this is a way to keep. Remember, the chaos is still a connection. It's still a connection. Anything that feels connected, any energy is connection. So not engaging, to take it deeper, Zoe, like you like to do, then you have to disengage from that part of yourself that related to that.
That's what I'm asking for. Yes.
So you have to shut down that part of yourself and then shut down your connection with that person, because you really do have to become a different person to not deal with that person.
So if you become a different person, would you then magnetize a different kind of person?
100%.
That's where I'm at.
This is what I was trying to tell Chi-Town. Okay, you are trying. I had to tell another comic this. How come I keep sending my tapes out and these clubs won't book me? Well, it is because you have a lot of potential. You are trying to become, and I see the cake that you are going to become. I see the icing. I see the candles. But right now, you just eggs, flour, and oil in a goddamn bowl. Quit trying to pass your eggs and flour and oil off as a goddamn cake. Take your time, go through the heat, and become a cake, and then share yourself with slices. Till then, don't nobody want that shit, and there's salmonella going around. You might get sick and get the shits. That's all I'm saying.
Damn. Doc?
Okay, Whitey Lock, I have to bring it down to a common sense tip.
I guess we're not common.
Okay, so
I guess we're crazy. Thank you, Whitey Locks.
What you need to do is recognize the difference between a reasonable expectation and a realistic expectation. So think of the future that you're banking on, and it may be reasonable to bank on that. Well, he said this, and we like each other, but realistic is what's likely to happen. And so you got to tune in and say, what's that future that I'm banking on where I'm putting up with all this crap because I think that future is going to happen? How realistic is that future? And if it's not realistic, leave. And it hurts. It hurts to break an attachment to a future, but it hurts even more to live into a future that's just not going to happen.
So you're saying do a better job at distinguishing possibilities from probabilities.
Yeah, well, one of the tough things, I hate to say it, is past behavior predicts future behavior.
Wow.
So words.
Hence the term track record.
Yeah, absolutely. So unless you see, and people don't change their behavior unless they care enough about it. People don't do what's important. They do what they care enough about. Food, eating well is important to me, but I don't care enough about it to do it well. So you got to look at this person's past behavior and see if there's any time when they've ever changed it. And if they haven't changed it, they're not going to change, and you need to change people.
Right. Great conversation. I appreciate it. We're going to transition after a quick break. We're going to take a quick break here, and then when we come back, we're going to go into our second topic. We're going to talk about how moms just got all the power in your relationships. Maybe you guys are experiencing some in-laws like that, where your mom is just dominating the whole get down.
Been there.
And maybe you guys can talk about it. 323-965-1600 is the number to dial. When we come back, second topic, second hour. So What Morning Show in the building. I'll talk to you guys in a moment. some reason.
Cray cray.
Oh, I love this
Girl,
track.
it's
Please let it
cray,
ride for a minute. This reminds me of the
Girl,
Foxhole.
you so cray cray.
Sing it, Jeff. Tell her
Why
about
you
itself.
smash all my windows out? Why you set my dog on fire? Why? I just said I was going to my sister's house. You said you was gonna knock that bitch out, and you don't even know her. You didn't even show her that me and you was together, baby. Why you cray cray, baby? You so cray cray. You so cray cray. Cray cray. I need a restraining order, 'cause this bitch is cray cray now. Oh, she crazy.
Fucking Hal Green over this motherfucker.
Hal Green.
Wow. Woo, Jesus.
Whoa.
I'm crazy now.
Hey, I've had a lot of people, man, reach out to me and ask me to do this topic when and how they word it is, that woman, her son is her man. You know?
Wow,
You know what I'm saying? Like
she done put that shit on this poor child.
Right. She treating him like he her dude. Right? How many of you guys experienced that? That enmeshment shit. He can't think for himself. Mom is dominating everything. She's treating him like, well, since you know what I'm saying? Since it never worked out with any of the dudes I've been with, right? And it's never been my fault that it didn't work out with any of the dudes.
No
I'm going to treat him like the one dude who will always love me.
And if he start loving somebody else, now
it is
that
problems.
girl is cheating on
his
her
mama.
shit with her.
Wow. So the second hour topic, married to the mom, how a mother's love can ruin a son's future love life.
Absolutely.
Do mothers label the fear of letting go of their sons as overprotection? I'll just call it overprotection. I'm protecting you, nigga. I can see what type of woman she is. I wouldn't date her. You know what I mean?
I know women. You hear a lot of that too. I think it is, and I think again, it's just like everything we talk about. It's about moderation. You know, most parents are protective. You know, are they sabotaging relationships? Are they
behind the secret, the hidden hand?
Like on some Love and Hip Hop, you know, like that? It gets real. Like that's where you have to ask. Like, are you overreaching? Are you preventing this person from developing socially and emotionally like they should be?
What does it mean to be mother enmeshed? Can a daughter be mother enmeshed?
Oh, absolutely.
As well as a son? And what are, the signs of an enmeshed child?
I think definitely. And it comes across in different ways. So like with the son, the enmeshment is more, it's a lot of placating, it's a lot of coddling, it's a lot of enabling. With the daughter, it's more about sort of aligning that child with who you want to be, So with a daughter feels a lot more pressure in that situation to live up to who the mother wants them to be.
And going back to the personality disorder thing, I always say a hurt mother cannot raise a whole and healthy child. Because just like NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, it's modeling. I'm modeling you after my sickness, after my illness, but I'm trying to make you a better version of that.
I think that goes for both, and I think that goes for both parents. I know here we're talking about mothers, and I particularly have a certain standard for the mothers that I work with and women I work with. I always tell people that there's this verse in Proverbs that says, a wise woman builds her home, a foolish woman tears it down with her own hands. Ooh. And that hits me real hard every time. And I use that.
Ooh,
I use
should
that
have
a
come in
lot
a Chevy.
because women are very powerful. Like we emote. And if you ever seen Daddy have a bad day, Daddy can have a bad day, sit on the couch, nobody really tripping.
Just leave him the fuck
he'd be like on his own. He'd be good. If Mommy have a bad day,
everybody
up in there gonna have a bad day.
I'm gonna spew this shit all over.
Exactly. If you don't own that. If you don't own that, if you don't recognize that's what you have the power to do, you don't recognize what you have the power to create either. And so I think I think you do see a lot of that. A lot of that play out.
I always say, women control the home.
100%. They're the
Absolutely.
heart, the emotional tone of it.
They don't understand.
Absolutely.
If a woman can change the dynamic
Yes.
of the home, and if
Yes.
she's burnt from the inside out,
Yes.
we're done in
Yes,
this motherfucker.
Yeah, without a woman, all your house is a place to damn stay. Okay, a woman. I used to beg my ex for this. Look, could you please not crap my brain out before I leave? Could we please? And that's the one thing I will say about white women. They understand. Wait till you get back. Wait till you get in the car.
So let me ask,
Sisters, not so much.
how does a child, Dr. Goulston, how does a child, a boy or a girl, unenmesh themselves? Isn't it difficult?
Yes.
I think it goes back to that metaphor. You know, you can't watch the TV show you're starring in. Doc, how do they go, God damn it, mama, you and your evil ways?
I hate to say it, they move out of town.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
I told you, get a second job, secret second job for your U-Haul truck.
No, really, because it's kind of like when you live in a home, you live in everyone's personality, and the woman does. You know, like you just said, when a dad has a bad day, he wants to be left alone. When a woman has a bad day, everybody has a bad day.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you live inside a home, you live inside each other's personalities, and when you live inside that town, then people just sort of assume things. But if you can just move that distance, then they're not able to make assumptions, and you're able to sort of say, I'd really like to, but I'm just too far away. And it's a shame because with these kind of women, if you don't move out of town, you
can forget it.
You better believe it. You can.
Dude, speaking of moving out of town, that's if I look back, hindsight is 20/20. I really think my very first marriage, when I was too young to be doing it, would have worked out if I'd have been this smart. I was just hell bent on my career, and I lived way out in San Bernardino. What I should have done was left comedy alone for 6 months and got a secret second job. And all I'm doing is stacking money till I had about $3,000 at the time.
Escape from the relationship.
No, I'm gonna pull up in front of my house with this U-Haul truck. Already got a new place picked out. Now, I'm putting my shit on here first. Either I'm moving or we moving in 2 hours, and you can make that choice because we were too close to her mother.
You know, and it's like the doctor said, it's interesting. All the things we've talked about on the show today involve being in a bubble. This is what people forget. This is what people forget. When you are in a relationship or in a family, you are in a bubble, and everything in there becomes normal. To kids who are abused every day, it is normal. It is normal. You will adapt. The mind will adapt to a sense of normalcy.
This makes sense.
I get my beatings
that
about
becomes relative
3:45.
to the point where when they're taken out of that environment, everything seems abnormal. And so here's the thing: the person who's running that bubble, whose personality is the most dominant, on some level knows and does everything they can to break you down and prevent you from poking your head out of that bubble. Because when you poke it out and you look around, it's going to be really hard to get you to go back down in that bubble. And that's why you have to get out. You have to get out of the bubble.
Especially, just look at that bubble analogy is great. If you're in a bubble and the person that dominates and dictates who does what in the bubble, if they're doing that from a space of hurt, right? If they're doing that from a space of hurt, now shame becomes a tool to motivate the going and comings of the people you're now in control of.
Here in Hurdyville.
Shame and eroding the healthy part of the ego, the part that says, I can do it, I can be successful, I can, like you said, with these children, especially like say it's a girl, they feel like they cannot make a decision. Or the boys, they feel like they cannot make a decision. The ego is so worn down. They cannot make a decision without this person.
Your house is the hurt locker.
You're dependent.
You guys live in the hurt locker.
There's something else going on that I gotta throw in some biology here because a lot of women are about.
He's a doctor.
Oxytocin and estrogen. Oxytocin is about bonding. It's what keeps a mother looking at a woman, looking at a baby that she just like to throw out the window and is screaming and thinking that baby is so cute. That's that oxytocin. You just bond. And estrogen's about building something. You take a house and you build it into a home. And men can't do this for themselves. That's why we need these women. Now, men are about testosterone and adrenaline. And testosterone and adrenaline are about aggression and power and going out there and grabbing what you need to give that woman to build that home. And so we sort of need each. And the sad thing is we know we need that to complete a life, but then when either of them really act up, when the testosterone, the adrenaline tries to trump the oxytocin and demeans the woman for closeness and bonding and stuff like that, then it just creates problems. And the key is, I think if we just accept that we're different and we need each other and we can't have a full life without each other.
But
Absolutely.
different is the enemy for most people. Look at America. Shit's different. Fuck it. Let's kill it. That's how we get down.
Yeah.
So different is scary. That's wherever there's difference, there's fear for most people.
Absolutely.
Let's just acknowledge that. Here's a question. Are mama's boys the byproduct of an insecure, lonely, and or bitter mother?
I think they could be.
Let's go deeper.
I think they could be. I think the other thing is you have to remember that these mothers really honestly feel like they are doing what's best for their child at a certain point. They really feel like that's their intention.
You know, I just think in America, women and motherhood are sometimes beyond reproach. And just because you a mama,
You get a pass.
don't mean you good at
Yes.
it. It don't mean you good at it.
No, it's just true.
Not
Yes.
every mama is a good mama.
Just because your birth canal works does not make you fantastic at motherhood.
Right. And then when you start controlling
Absolutely.
and impeding on relationships that are necessary for the development of your child, you have now crossed over into bad mamahood.
100%. But going back to what you said about thought and consciousness being in the same place at the same time, that thought and that manifestation are so strong. So what I'm saying is, if you come up against a belief, that's a fight. This mother believes that she's doing what's best for her child.
Right.
Whether or not that's accurate, the belief is so strong, it becomes action, it becomes environment, it becomes all these things.
Mother, materialize, matter, all of these words are related. That's why I'm afraid of a woman with a hurt heart, because she will manifest a whirlwind of fucked up experiences to live that shit out.
And it's powerful because, again, it's not about the physical strength with women. It's about the emotional strength. The ability to emote can just decimate.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And we really, people always say this to me when I work in teams as a therapist, and sometimes they're like, you're hard on mom. I am, because they need to know their power. They need to know their power.
And then they get on me for that, Thea. Thank you.
They need to know their power. You have the power to create, and you have the power to destroy. And if you're unaware of that, the destruction is catastrophic at times. And it's different than male destruction.
Oh, they like the Incredible Hulk.
It's
They just
different
turn
than
green,
male
tear the relationship up, and then when they calm down, ooh, what happened here?
What did I
Why is it-
do?
What did I do?
Did I kill
Yeah, it was you.
someone? Yes,
Yeah.
you did.
It's easier to get over physical, which is how men usually exert their destruction. It's easier to get over some sort of physical destruction than it is to get over an emotional.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's where we need to really own our power as women.
I took this forward into relationships. I've taken this where there was one person that you really wish that you could please, and the fact that you couldn't, you take forward you're over that person consciously,
Take it
but
with you.
subconsciously, you're still trying to please this individual just because nothing made them happy.
Yes.
And I got to the point where I go, you know what? Nothing makes you happy. Nothing I do? All right, well, then I'm free. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Well, if I know that absolutely nothing I do is going to ever meet this mark, then that means all this shit up under here is wonderful. This is where I'm just going to start living. I'm going to start doing whatever the fuck I want to do.
Some people are like putting water in a bucket with a hole in it. It just does not matter how much water you pour into it. It's not about that. But going back to what the doctor said, I do believe that we have forgotten how we intersect and how we connect in male-female dynamics, because I feel like in order for me to be the fully developed, amazing woman that I'm supposed to be, I need a partner that knows how to create that space where I can feel safe to become that. And I think that's a balance.
Or we have to be careful in the word selection, co-create that space. Because what happens is a lot of women think and materialize because they're emoting onto that. It's his responsibility to create that space. No, it's yours too. Because in your participation, you create the reality you want to participate in. But if you're sitting back going, no, you do it, now you're not responsible, or you have an out to say it's his fault because he didn't create the environment.
Yeah, I think it's like if the man constructs the box, the woman fills it. And I think that's how I view it. And it is a co-creation because the whole entity will be our creation, but I need a box to fill.
So a friend of mine once said before that women are an empty vase waiting to be filled, and they become what the man fills her with. That's what sounds like you're saying to me right now.
No, I don't think it's.
Please clarify, damn it.
For instance, I've always said, like,
shut up.
I think they're both what they are. They are what they are individually, but when you put them together, they become something else. And that's how it is. They both exist. I mean, if you really break it down, if you go with the Adam and Eve narrative, if the woman was the rib was a rib. It was what it was. It was whole.
We doing the church now?
I'm just saying that the man was short a rib. So
short a rib, or he gave her a rib?
There was a rib short. There was a rib missing, right?
Really? Wow.
There's a rib missing. Now the rib is still a rib, but brother, you were rib short is what I'm saying. So they
what is the Hebrew word for rib?
I don't
Doc,
know.
He's Hebrew, Jewish.
Veal chop.
Veal chop? What kind of Hebrew?
It's your fault for assuming he went out.
What the?
No, something I want to introduce, and we'll make this a whole show, because part of what I'm hearing is guilt trips. That could be a whole. Let's do a whole show on that. Is someone guilt tripping you? How do you break yourself free from a guilt trip? And I was thinking, when we're talking about mamas and mama boys, I think.
Say it again, Doc.
I think when you're talking about mamas and mama's boys.
You don't even say it right.
He did say it right.
Say it like a black person,
I
Doc.
liked it.
Mamas and mama's boys. It don't even sound right coming out of his
said it
mouth.
right.
Okay.
I thought he was okay.
Thank you.
Okay, there it is. Go ahead, Doc.
Let us remember that when we walk out of the studio, I am the majority and you are the minority.
Yeah, Troy.
Not around here. You on Kiko, Doc.
You done lost your whole mind. The world is black. It's a few of you white folks. We surround all y'all.
You're just a mama's boy.
Don't make us flip it around on you.
Look here, don't ever call me no mama's boy. You white, you call me a mama's man.
That's what you do.
Because I can't even. That's stupid. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wake up in your trunk. What the hell happened?
Anyway, what do you think about this guilt trip? What do you think about guilt trip?
I like it.
Here's a question. Do you think a woman who's a mother can lay a more effective guilt trip on a child than they can on a man?
Absolutely.
Are you kidding?
I'd say they're equal.
The child is fucking
It's just
Play-Doh.
It's a different.
No. You know why? Because I am already who I am. Every day, a child is becoming who they are going to be. So when she's hit me with guilt, it might splash and some get in my mouth. When she hit a child with guilt, she is putting that guilt right in his DNA.
Right.
But you just said you just talked about a relationship where you felt like nothing you did was enough to make them happy. Guilt trips was a part of that.
Absolutely.
That's a great
how
point.
that followed you.
So maybe
out of that relationship.
that's a great point.
That was on me.
So maybe
it was not in me.
Maybe the reason these women bond to their sons instead of men is because they can lay a more effective guilt trip on their son and control him.
Well, I like what you said.
awesome.
It's in you as a child and on you when you're
Yes, it's in you as a child. It's on you as an adult.
Yeah.
The Doc makes the greatest point of all, and we've said this before. When it comes to women and their children, they don't have that gummy, sticky, bullshit filter that's built up of a bunch of conditions. Women love their men conditionally. They love their children unconditionally. So that filter isn't there. So now when they guilt trip a kid, it's like, oh shit. The first woman I've ever loved makes me feel bad because I didn't perform? Oh, fuck that. I'm jumping over the devil's back to get to her.
Right.
The dude ain't enough sucking of dick gonna make me do what you want me to do at a certain point. At a certain point, I'm done with you and all that bullshit you talking.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I mean,
That was great about the unconditional and conditional. I think that's so true.
That's what it is.
I'll take a blowjob, but I'm still not going to do that.
Right. You can do that, but that's not going to guarantee I'm taking out the trash.
I mean, but listen, there are some mothers who love conditionally. There are some mothers, if you don't meet their approval, they cut you off from their love. These are the women that we talked about on that personality spectrum.
You know where they love you conditionally? When you try and go get a girlfriend.
Yes. That's when
hilarious.
it comes out.
You cheating on me, boy? I'm cheating on you, mother.
Mama D. Is that her name? Mama D? Love and Hip Hop. Woof. There you go. That is your textbook. Mama's boy situation. Mama D on Love and Hip Hop.
Who is Mama D?
Mama D is
I don't watch
Scrappy.
Scrappy's mama.
Yeah, Scrappy's mama.
And she does what?
Shout out to Scrappy. Don't put them paws on me,
Don't
dog.
put them
We just
paws on
saying.
us.
So
She's all enmeshed in their relationship, in his relationships, like, manipulating who he's gonna be with, sabotaging. She wants the person to be someone who is on her team. So if you are going to be with somebody, I want it to be somebody I feel like I can control, an extension of the control I have on you.
Is that like, what was the other dude, Love and Hip Hop, Jim Jones's mom, when she was going at
She had that issue a bit too, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She wasn't cool with the girls.
Yeah.
But
Jim wasn't having that.
So he was like, nah.
Yeah. Now Scrappy's starting to not have it. He's starting to not have it, but he's been under it for quite a while. It's conflicting for him.
So really, it's on the son who's enmeshed to step up and be like, Mom,
At a certain
fall
point.
to your position.
At a certain point.
But can't you see the rock in the hard spot?
absolutely.
He's now in between his mama
Absolutely.
and his woman.
That brings us back to Doe with the doc. You got to get out of town, Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
If you're
get
going
out
to
of
save your
town.
relationship.
You can't leave. You think your mama gonna let you leave?
You just got to go in the middle of the night.
Well,
like
no,
the Underground
okay.
Railroad.
If you look here, if you got to sneak away from your mama, then you
Back
really
to
don't
back.
need to have no woman.
If you got to,
Straight up. If you got to
Right.
sneak, if you worry
Get
about
ready.
being grounded,
You're not
which is
ready.
another thing, if you live with your mama, technically you can be grounded. Okay. So
What if she live with you?
Oh, well that's a whole nother kettle of fish. I'm not I ain't doing that.
Jeff made a brilliant point. It was
Really?
just one in the last 6 months, but he made this.
Just one in the last 6 months, the doc says. Wow.
No, he made this brilliant point about. Go on, say it about the difference between family and relative.
Oh yeah. Once you and this is for those who believe in the institution of marriage. Once you marry a woman, whether you have children or not.
Children.
Yeah, whether you have a children's.
That's good.
Whether you have a children's, the two of you are family.
yes.
Everyone else becomes relatives. Excuse me. Those are your relatives, and you don't treat your relatives
Leave
like you
the
treat your
gifts on
family.
the porch.
Yeah, maybe that's why the mothers don't like the marriage, because they're going to be demoted from
Right.
to family to
To
relative.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a caller on the line. Tim Reed.
The Tim Reed?
Who are you?
Wow.
Talk to us,
I'm
man.
great. How you guys doing?
We're good,
We're
man.
Good. What's up, Tim?
Hey, from South Carolina, I just want to say I appreciate everything you guys do all the time. I've been listening for the last couple of months and finally got on the line. It feels great. I just want to say, in topic, I'm a product of a single-parent home with, just my mother, two sisters. And for the longest, because of a few different reasons, me and my mother have been at odds. But even now at 30, I find myself falling into the same ideal patterns that she has, that she's been cultivating in me even when I was younger. It's one of those big things where, I didn't see how it was affecting my relationship, with my wife of 7 years. But now, as questioning a lot of the things and where I've got my values from, I see that she's had a hand in a lot of different things, even to my religion, my makeup, and a lot of the reasons why I'm still with, the people that I've been dealing with and been
Absolutely.
partially working with them as far as enabling and, and just sticking around where I probably shouldn't have, because she's instilled a lot of different things in me that I found to be part of my makeup. So my question really would be, is that always necessarily a bad thing because they have such a strong hand in us as males?
Wow. Thanks, man. We appreciate you sharing. We appreciate the candidness. We're going to the next caller. Brian, you're on the line. Holler at us, man. Tell us what's going on with you.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
All right, all right.
38 years old, second wife. I would have to say my mom killed the first marriage. I gave her too much leverage.
Wow. How did she kill it?
She was involved with everything. Every problem that I had with my ex-wife, I consorted with my mom, and she didn't separate me being her son and being a friend and trying to console me or give me some words of wisdom. It was more about how she would handle things, and I really didn't like the outcome, so to speak, nor did my ex-wife.
So how did you get away? Did you have to destroy the marriage before you were able to get away, or did you? I mean, is mom still holding the reins of power?
Actually, when my mom got involved, and it was my fault, I take full responsibility, the sex stopped in the house.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
You mean to tell me the woman can use the vag box as a means of control?
You know,
Well,
You better handle your mama,
Yeah,
or
because
the yogurt flow is going to stop.
oh my
I
God,
threw my mouth a little.
cheated.
no danky wanky.
And my ex-wife ultimately ended up cheating. So the wife was dissolved. She was gone. Now I'm married again, and I rarely speak to my mom about anything that's going on in my house.
Well, that's pretty smart.
Wow.
You know, we speak, we say hello. If she asks some intrusive questions, I'll quite bluntly tell her, "Mom, stay in your lane. I love you,
Yeah.
but you can't get involved with this."
How's your relationship with your mother now? Does she understand like she had a lot of control and that she
Incredible Hulk, the first one?
Yeah. Does she
Well-
recognize that? Did she apologize? Is she accountable for anything? Talk to me.
She didn't apologize. My father stepped in and basically told her to be quiet. Leave that boy alone.
Big Daddy, Big Papa. Hey,
See?
now you know you done toe
man.
shit up, right?
Can I give you a tip to use? Can I give you a tip to use with your mom? You open to that?
Sure.
Take her aside and say, "I need your help with something," and then oh, that's fine. You could say, "I am dangerously close to avoiding you, and you're my only mother, and I have no control over it. And so when I get off the phone, it's not because I have something to do. I'm getting off the phone to get away, and I don't want it to end this way or go this way, and you have control over it, and I don't. So what would make me look forward to seeing you is this, and what's going to make me avoid you more is this. It's your choice."
Can I say that works better with white
Oh
folks?
my God! How'd you read my mind? You would never get. You want to avoid me, but then go on then. Get your black ass on off the porch. The one who birthed you. I spent 17 hours in labor with your ass, Brian. Have you looked at the size of your head lately? It was the same damn size 30 years ago, nigga. And I pushed your monkey ass out. And you gonna stand here on my porch, on my property, and tell me I wish my dog didn't know you. I'd stick him on you, right? Let me see if it'll. Duke, get his ass, Duke. Get him.
Oh my God.
Take your raggedy ass on,
Take
then.
your monkey ass on, and I don't want to get no more macaroni, nigga.
Oh my
no
God.
more macaroni.
Now give me the key back to my porch.
Oh my God!
It's
You
over.
have never ever.
That is ignorant on steroids.
Apparently, have never ever offended a black mother. Brian,
No, I
said.
don't offend her at all.
No. Brian, I suggest you take the doc's advice, but you might want to put that in letter form. You might want to write your mama that. I don't know if you want to stand up in front of your mama and say that.
Who the fuck
I
are you
withdraw
talking
my
to?
suggestions.
I'm very nice to her when I say I don't want to say anything, but I never get rude.
Oh God!
I think-
Who the fuck are you talking to?
You know, I think that Tim made a good point, and I think the second caller made a good point. With Tim, I do see this a lot more with single mothers, and I think that there's a difficulty there because there's an absolute responsibility and sense of responsibility and ownership that come with taking on both roles. And I think I really do. I go back to say this. I really do. There are some mothers who don't intend that. And once they realize it is hurting their child, I've seen them make appropriate
Back up.
changes. Yeah. If they know that it's hurting their baby. I've seen that. Now there's some who won't, and that's a deeper issue. But some who have. The other thing I think is important real quick though is the second caller made a point. Another strategy that works is giving this person a role. Like they need to know that they still have an important part in your life. You know, they need to be given that role and explain what that role is, but they just need to feel like they didn't completely lose their role, because that is really hard, especially if they decided not to date and put all their life into this kid. You know, they need to start focusing that energy on their own life, but they also just need a new role.
That's where I was about to come to. When the child gives the mother the sum total of their meaning, of the mother's meaning, is the mother potentially dangerous to the child? Like, you define me. I don't know what I'd do without you. Like a mother who is devoid of like her own identity without the child.
Yeah.
Like, and when we see that, is that like a sign or a red flag that says there's something wrong with this woman and what she's giving? Not this woman, not like femininity or women, but this person that's passing on this kind of way to engage to this child. Like,
I think
isn't it creating some kind of...
It definitely creates codependency. It creates the sense that the child feels responsible for the parent at a young age. And so they will start to, choose their actions and make decisions based on what is going to make this mother happy, what is in her best interest, versus developing their own identity and separating.
How does that... A child who is living to make the mother happy, or father, how then do they recognize, like, I'm not giving into me? It's almost like I'm a caregiver for my mother, and I'm not putting back into me or connecting with me and finding out what I need. How does a child wake up at some point? Do they wake up as an adult and still find that they're a child to some degree?
You got to fire your mama at some point.
Yeah, I think it depends on if they were able to have sort of a natural and healthy adolescence too. Like if they sometimes, that natural separation happens as you get older, as you become a teenager, as you become more exposed to peer groups and other people. But if you are controlled even in that setting, if you are restricted from that natural development, it will take until adulthood. It will take until you lose your first wife, as we just heard.
Let me ask you, how often, because mothers are the primary caregivers in most cases, how often, and in general, I don't know if there's a stat for it, but how often do mothers divert the natural developmental course of a child?
I wouldn't know. Like, I couldn't give you...
Just look at society, dude.
I would just say...
That's what I'm saying.
Just look at dudes now. Dudes, there's some bitch-made dudes out there right now.
I mean, but see, here's the thing. Here's the thing I must give. If you have a single mother, I see this all the time, when a single mother brings her child in for therapy and we do an assessment and people are like, oh, this mother's doing this mother's doing that. The father's absence does something too. True. And so that you not being there, I can get accountability. I can hold her accountable. But part of the decisions she made were in part because of this absence, and so the father doesn't get any real blame, doesn't get any real
he does.
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah, he does, because absent fathers is a social narrative in America today.
However, I'm just saying, like, when you come into contact with institutions, like if you bring somebody into a school, if you're doing an assessment, these bodies that kids come into contact with as they get older, they're looking at the person who's there, and
but
so they're going to say,
let me just say this.
You're going to say that the mothers didn't get it.
Let me just say this, Jeff.
Yes, sir.
I know very few fucked up dads. I know some.
Yeah.
But I know very few.
Okay.
The majority of dudes I know across the country fight, kick, steal, rob
tooth and nail,
to participate.
Here's a couple of tooth and nails right
It is a fucking thing. Again, I say America creates a victimhood shelter for women. And I like to call women out to be more accountable on a lot of things. A lot of times, the biggest obstacle for a father to participate in his son's life is that mama.
Or child's life. And I can't say that I disagree, because I've come into contact with several, like we were just saying, cray-cray situations where I admire these men. I had to really look and see,
Ask
my
yourself,
God,
ask
how
yourself
hard they're
this
working.
question. Ask yourself this question. If you get a dad who gets to the point and says, man, fuck that. I ain't going back over there. Imagine what kind of shit he got to go to get to the point of, fuck that. I ain't going back over there.
Here's okay. Single mothers who ain't shit daddies.
Right.
You have one of two bad seats to sit in. Either you were not following your intuition and you had a child with a fucked up dude, or you drove a good man off. One of those things. How is there a third? Now the other thing.
Well, the third is that the not shit daddy could have been a daddy and showed up.
I don't know what you mean.
Like the third is that the guy could have stayed and been a dad.
Then he wouldn't have been a bad dude.
Right. So my thing is your intuition, we all have bad relationships, and that's not always about intuition. Sometimes that's about need. Sometimes our needs outweigh our intuition.
Yes.
And so we don't really want to get into the conversation of who did what when they needed what, because sometimes our instincts are ruled over by what we need at that time. Those needs are deep.
Could you speak deeper into that? Sometimes our needs outweigh our intuition.
The need to be accepted, the need to be approved, the need to be loved, the need to be nurtured. All these things, you can see something that looks terrible for you. And if they even show a possibility of giving you that need, you're going to go for it. That's because your survival instincts are going to surpass your intuition.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Okay. Now I'm not abdicating shitty fathers. I hate shitty fathers. I can't stand them. My point is this. It is against human mammal nature for the male to love the kids around the female. And you have to fight your natural. Wow. It's not natural for me to, which is what I have done. I have absolutely no face-to-face, no direct contact with my children's mother at all.
Yeah.
Email, text.
Right.
That's it. That's it. Don't come by my house.
Yeah.
That is unnatural.
Yeah.
That's unnatural.
And it creates a disconnect.
And unfortunate.
For the child.
And unfortunate. Absolutely. It's
that
terrible.
is the road that most dudes, a lot of good dudes go, you know what? That's where fuck that come from.
Right.
Fuck that. I'm not going to do that. That's unnatural, and I'm not going to do it. But you have to.
Yeah.
Because if the family is a planet and you're loving the child around the mother, it's like they're living on two different planets.
But also,
it's like two different worlds.
So I agree. And I don't think that's what ends up being like a more parallel parenting strategy as opposed to a co-parenting strategy.
But you got to have a conscious motherfucker that wants to participate.
Thank you.
But flipping it back to what Jeff said, as a man, did your bells and whistles not go off when you saw that this woman had certain behaviors too that could have predicted, like, maybe I shouldn't get her pregnant?
Listen, cray pussy is blinding.
Go back to cray.
It's blinding.
I knew you were going to go back to the yogurt.
I can't see. I can't see when she has Dannon in between her legs.
It's not the man's fault. It's the yogurt.
Okay, wait. I got something. Okay. Hold on.
Okay. Jesus.
Okay, hold your thoughts.
Oh, no whispering. This is not a tag team. We don't do.
Now,
we can't have a rehearsal.
You'll hear it. Now, I want you to give me fantastic. Light them up in your head. Fantastic red flags that a man would see from Crazy Keisha. Just a crazy. Give me one.
Very demanding.
Stop.
But that ass, nigga.
Oh my God.
That ass.
Give me another one.
Checking your phone.
But that ass, nigga. That ass.
Give me another one.
Slashing your tires.
So.
But that ass, nigga. That ass.
The defense rest, Your Honor. Call your next witness.
The defense rest.
Womp womp.
If the glove don't fit.
Jesus, did you see that little picture on Instagram of the cat? And he's sitting up and he's doing like this with his claws, and underneath it says, that ass. That's just that ass.
I can't.
Caller, you're on the line. Talk to me.
Hello, yes. This is the Mighty Quinn. Peace to everyone in the room, sister and the brothers in the room.
All right now.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, I believe that, and this is going back on to what I heard in another show that Dr. Jewstone said. He basically said white men he shies away from relation and relationships. Those two things they stay away from. And I think because of the white man's rule over this society through government and, politics, it takes an effect on the black family. But black people need relationships. But we're operating in a realm that we don't belong in.
You know what, brother? Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. That was a very deep point. Let him hang on.
Yeah.
This is what happens. We asked this question last week. And this is what kind of happens. I said, what if the African American community was raised in a socialist communist society as opposed to a capitalist one? If everybody's needs were taken care of, would the black woman be talking so much shit about provide and do for and work? Then how would that change the dynamics of our relationships if everything is taken care of? If you have medical, if he has a job, the state has already provided, you're a dentist, based off of your school tests, you know, you're this, you're that.
Everybody car got 24s on.
Right, everybody's cool.
Maybe back to our tribal affairs.
You see what I'm saying? So what happens in a capitalistic society, we form 401k kind of relationships. Now we walk into it demanding and expecting defined outcomes, results. Hey, I'm not fucking with you unless you provide A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. You understand what I'm saying?
What is the man saying in that society?
But that's what I'm saying. Both people are coming in with a list of demands.
Yeah.
It is an outcomes demand
corporate,
list.
not cooperative.
It's corporate, not God damn it, girl. Shit.
I love this.
Go ahead, Mighty Quinn.
I
Finish
just
your
love
thought.
this girl.
Yes, my thought also was what the sister said. She said that women have needs, men have needs.
We do.
We need to see our kids.
I don't think I said women had
mostly
needs.
operate on what they want.
Wait a
and
minute,
if
Mighty
that man
Quinn.
can't provide it, tragedy.
Never did I say women have needs. I said people have
Okay,
needs.
people have
Because
needs,
here's
but
the
I'm
thing.
just saying that
Here's the thing.
as a whole,
Their
as far
needs-
as when I'm growing up and examining my mother, my grandmother, my great-grandmother, which I was always up under my great-grandmothers, I examined all of them, and I can still picture back. It was always the woman running things, and you never got to speak to the father, or the grandfather was in the back room listening to jazz, and while you were sitting in the front room playing up under your grandmother. And it was always a quiet situation when it came to the men, but you know, you always they would always send you to the mother.
Absolutely.
Right.
But somebody else grew up in a home where it was, you know, if you were of a different culture, where it was the total opposite, where it was, you know, the man who made the rules. Even if the woman was keeping the house running, she had no say in how certain things were handled in that home. You had to go to the father. So that's all relative to culture and family culture.
But you know what the father's role
people
is.
have needs.
The father's role really is backup for mama's rule.
Absolutely.
So mom makes the rule, and then when kids get out of pocket, dad backs up the law, which mother writes.
See, I think for me, I work with so many different families, and they're very diverse, culturally, socioeconomically. So for me, it's hard for me to say one way or the other because I've seen homes where that's the case, and I've seen other homes where the dad, you know, this mother does not make a move unless that dad says what needs to happen. She is more so following through and implementing what he has said must happen. And those are sometimes different cultures. You know, there's different religions.
I think the two can exist under the same roof almost, because that's kind of in my house. That's kind of what it is. Is look, these are the
back
rules.
each other up.
These are the rules.
Right,
Okay.
right.
My wife's word is very important. My wife's word is first to my children. My word is final. If you come through, don't get daddy involved. Okay,
That's the way it works,
I'm trying
brother.
to
Yes.
tell y'all.
That's what I'm
trying
saying.
to tell y'all. Y'all need to be quiet. I'm trying to tell y'all that you can't have popsicles right now. You keep it up, daddy come outside. Everybody come in the house for 3 days. No popsicles for a week.
For 3 days.
Right.
But I think that's
Yes, sir. Yes,
I think that's cooperative though. That sounds cooperative. Everybody has a role. Everybody knows how they can support each other. There's no disconnect between what mom and dad are saying. That's
Right.
cooperative. I mean, I don't see an issue with that per se.
But that's what I'm saying. When we come into a business oriented philosophy for relationships,
Right.
when we engage, like you said, it's corporate, not cooperative. When we come in with that 401k mentality, like what defined gifts and what defined pleasures and what can I accumulate and get from you? When we come into relationships with that philosophy, we miss the spiritual component,
Absolutely.
which is the most important component.
Yes.
We live in a society where marriage is business first. The number one indicator for poverty in America is divorce. The number one indicator for financial success in America is marriage. It's business first. There's no spirituality connected to it for the most part.
Unless you place it into it yourself.
But that's my point. If you are self-unaware, your relationship is not spiritual. Uh-oh. That's a whole nother dance right there.
Tell him.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the call, brother. I appreciate you, man. Woo! Hot monkey knuckles up in this piece today. Jesus Christ.
Okay, I love this girl. I love
Yeah, she's dope as hell. We'll be bringing her back.
Yeah, you got to come. Yeah,
she too is a Leo.
I am a Leo.
And fellas, I don't know if y'all can see her. She look kind of like Erykah Badu. Not exactly. Not like you look like this much. Like if I was on the 134 and it was raining, and you had a flat tire, I would fly by your ass at 70. I'd be damn if Erykah Badu ain't out flat tire.
If Erykah Badu was out, it would be a car crash. Boosh, boosh. No, but she's dope. We're going to bring her back many more times. You know, I like to add very, very powerful, intelligent women to the show because I believe, and a lot of people don't understand me on this sometimes, I'm easily misunderstood because I lack rapport with a lot of people. But at the end of the day...
You're an asshole, though.
No, I'm just saying. At the end of the day,
that's okay. Most of my friends are assholes.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I do this show because I honestly believe that women are the power. I honestly and truthfully believe that, and I believe that a patriarchal society has fucked up her ability to use her spiritual antennas for shit. Because
awareness.
Awareness
she has them.
Right? Because the dude said it before. You know, that's the misnomer. Women always need. And again, we've made the woman a victim. And she uses victimhood better than anybody in this culture in order to get over. And we need her to be a victim because men only want to save you. We want to help. So we have to victimize you in order to remain important to you. That's what raises our testosterone is when you say, I need you, nigga.
Oh, yeah, because, sisters, we don't get men because apparently we say we don't need you. So that's the irony. That's the catch-22 that we're in. We build ourselves up so that we can be, co-partners. But then it's, we're accused of being, we don't need you. So I think it's a very difficult thing to dissect.
I ain't never heard a straight man say, I don't need no damn woman. I got a job. I ain't never heard a man say that.
Well, we always need women.
We don't never. I don't care how man we might go. We might need hoes for one thing. We might need housewives for another. But I never heard that's some crazy shit y'all say. I don't need no man.
No, I think that's what the perception is. That's
feminism, though.
Think
that's
they don't
not a
need,
perception.
No, that women feel like we don't need the man. Now I will say, but let's think about that. There's a lot of social constructs to that. There's a lot of the man not being able to be there and different reasons for that made us feel like we had to be on our own. So, I mean, we have a history that we have to work through.
Yeah, you already told us you guys are very delusional and the best at it.
I did not say that.
You did say that. You did say that.
I can't say the problems, y'all didn't make the problems, but y'all got all the solutions.
Hey, but listen, let me just say this really quickly. Let me just say this really quickly. We have a guest in the building. I appreciate the brother for coming out. He came all the way from Philly.
From Philly.
Team RAR member Chris Parnell. And what is it called? For Society. He brought us fly T-shirts and all of that. I appreciate the brother for coming out. And, I like to do background checks. I couldn't just have a nigga roll through. Poetess, check him out. Poetess was like, he's clean. Okay, let them stand shit.
Oh, that's funny. The Poetess is like the chick from The Incredibles?
Yes.
The one that makes the suits?
So listen, I got to do this really quickly. Follow me on Twitter at Zoe Williams. Please connect with me on all levels. I got a website coming out. I got personal coaching coming out. And from June 11th to June 16th, I'll be in Dallas at the Steve Harvey Foundation, where we will be hosting the Steve Harvey Mentoring Weekend for young men at Steve Harvey's Ranch in Dallas. I'm about to take my youngest son with me. We going out there to bang on these fools. It's going to be incredible. Really quickly, where can they find you, Thea Monyee?
www.theamonyee.com. I'm on Facebook and I'm also on Twitter.
Wow. Jeff Brown.
GB Funny Style, at GB Funny Style would be the Twitter. Y'all can find me on Facebook causing trouble and crazy shit all the time.
Go get the So What shirts, SoWhatOrders at gmail.com. I'm wearing Trauma and Forgiveness, an incredible shirt, credible symbology on it. Get at me next week, another banger. Deuces.